Okay, so I put this on the website. It's on a blog post. I forgot what I've called it already, but it's on one of the latest blog posts that I've put up for today. It looks like I've come to the bottom of something. It looks like I'm onto something, and I can figure out um, why our village board is just so eager to go forward with the next step, and why they've rushed this along, and they've made the next step basically is to apply for the construction grant. Why do we have to apply for this construction grant now? Why can't we wait a little bit longer? Who's pressing us? What's the big rush? Why do they only have to give us 10 days and make one of those days Labor Day weekend, Labor Day holiday, right? I mean, to keep us from stopping them. They want to move forward because the way it works is that the grant, the state understands that we want this grant to build, um, to improve our community, to open up our community and develop it, right? But it's not a gift. The state isn't in the business of, building your little empire town. We don't have a devastated town. This isn't, we just have a little bedroom community. We want to grow it. This is a dishonest way of growing it. And now I see what they're doing here now, because in applying for this grant, are you ready for it? There are strings attached. I mean, can you believe that the federal government or your state government attaches strings to money that they're going to give away? This is supposed to be $5 million worth of gifts, right? Now, why are they giving us $5 million worth of gifts? Because, hey, they want to set up low-income housing. Okay, I'm not against that. I'm not against low-income housing coming into Pesotum, just as long as I don't have to subsidize it, out of my own pocket. And then I have to get forced to, upgrade my own system, or however they're trying to sell this. So, let the construction developers that are going to make money off of this stuff, let them do it. I mean, I personally believe that Governor Pritzker doesn't like Central Illinois small towns. We didn't vote for him. By and large, the small towns came out against him. Anywhere you go to a small town, you might find the Pritzker sucks signs here and there. And I'm sure that rankled him. I'm sure he knows about that. And it, maybe this is his way of getting revenge on us or something. I mean, is it a revenge? I think in the long run, it's a blessing. Um, I think low-income housing, it can go well. It can go well. It's good to set that stuff up. I think the one that, in fact, when I first moved into this town, I looked at some low-income housing, and I didn't qualify for it because I had to be Section 8. And I thought, well, this is great. This is nice. It's a nice neighborhood. It seems well kept. It seems like all the neighbors are okay, and it's the area over there by the shopping mall. I didn't see any problem with it personally for myself, and I would have been more than happy to live there. In fact, the place that I lived at by Parkland was quite a dump by comparison. I was ecstatic. I was just happy to live there. It was going to be $600 a month, and I thought it was going to be good. So, I mean, I think those can be decent projects, but they can also go really bad. I mean, depending on who's managing them. And I mean, what I see here is that, well, we'll get into that in a moment here. But anyhow, we've got this play-by-play here. This next steps document came from the village board, and they attached this to ballots that they were passing out. Now, not everybody got this, and everybody got different information if they got a ballot at all. And so here I'm just doing like a play-by-play. The next step is to apply for a construction grant. I say, why do we have to do that now? Accepting this, and if you look at my note here, I've added these notes with the arrows and everything. And in the upper left corner, the grant is not for us, it's for low-income housing development. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Why would they come in here? Why would the governor come in here and say, hey guys, I want to just, give you guys all this money to help your town grow? It doesn't make any sense. The only way he can grow it is by, sort of, it's got to have some other benefit for him, which I think, having low income dependent welfare dependent housing sort of makes a, a voting bloc that is loyal to the hand that feeds it, so to speak. So anyway, accepting the Illinois State Construction Grant money will obligate us to provide low-income housing with sewers. I got that. You guys can read that. But my beef is that the developers, they are using us to foot the bill. We're setting this up so that they can benefit from it. It makes their land valuable. It gives them a new place to develop low-income housing. They want to spread low-income housing all across the state and America, I mean, if they can, I mean, maybe in 40 years, half of the population is going to live in low-income housing, where this is just like communist Russia used to be, where everybody's just like, they set up these little Hoovervilles. I wanted to get and I forgot it now, it's too late, but I wanted to get a little picture of Potterville, from the It's a Wonderful Life, Potterville, where if George Bailey hadn't lived, whatever the name of the town was, something Falls, or I forget, but if George Bailey hadn't lived, it would have turned into Potterville. So they're setting up these little Pottervilles and Hoovervilles in small towns, and we're welcoming them in because we think it's going to be all for us. We're selfish. We think it's all for us. It's not for us, guys. We're setting this up now, and we're going to foot the bill for us, and we're thinking that, I've heard that we're going to pay for the hookups. They're going to keep us under budget by trimming off the included options, which is hookups. So you're going to have to pay for your own hookup. You're going to have to pay for your own septic tank disposal, and if this is a great environmental hazard, you're going to have to pay for your disposal, I would imagine. I think it'd be safe to leave them in the ground, but who knows? I mean, we don't have any of the facts yet in that regard. So the next step is, if the construction grant was granted, this is the B step on the sheet, design of the system would occur. The project would then be bid out. Once bids are received, the village would determine whether the bids exceed what was anticipated. If so, the project would no longer be possible. Okay, fine, but can we give the money back? No, it's a grant. So this is why your village board is so excited to go this route, to just to get us on this, apply for the construction grant. Do they really care? Do they want it? I think they generally want it. I think at least half of the board wants it, is what I hear and what I understand. And I think they're genuine in that. They want to improve. They want to bring builders. They want to bring developers. They see these mega $1 billion dollar developers like the Atkins Group show up, and they promise to come in and develop Pesotum. They promise to, and they've bought up land. They show, like, I mean, they do want this land. They do want to develop this land someday. We don't know when. We don't know how, but they want us to do. They want us to set up the sewage treatment plant. I say, why don't we work out a deal? Why don't we let them set it up, and then we can split the costs? I mean, they can just send some lines our way into town, and then we can have Old Town versus New Town. And then, because they're trying to build these yuppie sort of houses, like Savoy's got. Those were high-dollar houses in Savoy when they expanded Savoy, farther and farther southward. And they're just kind of cookie-cutter houses, and it's just kind of yupsters that are living there. And Pesotum isn't about that. It's not. They're not going to build a quaint little organic community. Ours was organically grown. Unfortunately, it's suffered from attrition, from people not frequenting the businesses, and the village board not allowing new businesses in some cases. I think they should put development dollars into. Allow the private developers to do as they please, and if they want to set up their if they want to set up Section 8 housing, apartments and stuff like that, fine. You guys collude on your end and develop the north end of town and develop the south end of town and the east end, and set up your little septic system, but not for my $200 a month, and then to charge me extra fees per month. I'm going to spend this could be as bad as $240 a month on my back, and and I'm paying the um, for the developers to benefit, and they'll make their money and they'll go on to the next town like locusts. They'll strip us bare, and maybe they. I mean, my thinking was also that they could buy up houses after people who couldn't afford it would leave. They would buy up these houses cheap, and then turn them into Section 8 housing. I think. See, I can't find this anywhere. I've been searching for it. But I remember from when I was involved in rentals years ago that Section 8 housing, and we dealt with Section 8 people. Section 8 housing is, I mean, you have to have a septic hookup when you build those places, and you have to have a septic available. The city has to provide that. So if you accept these grant dollars, that's the danger, is that you have to provide this. Is that if we vote yes or we vote undecided now, it allows the president to go ahead and apply for this construction grant. Voting no now stops the president from obligating us. I think one way or another we're obligating ourselves at this point after the 6th, which is tomorrow, or no, Wednesday. After the 6th, which is Wednesday, it's a go, And worst case scenario, if you look at my note on the right here, the debt ordinance under C. If the project was possible, the village would adopt a debt ordinance associated with the loan required. Therefore, the ordinance would be published. Registered voters would have 30 days to sign a petition seeking to submit acceptance of the loan to the electors. If the requisite signatures are secured, issue placed on a ballot. Okay, fine. It's going to be on a ballot. That's lovely. That's great. This should have been at the start placed on a ballot. They did surveys, but they spent $16,000-$17,000 with Fair Graham, and we couldn't seem to stop them. We didn't know what was going on. They just went ahead and said, "Oh, we're going to just go ahead and do this little thingamajig here," and they somehow they got enough surveys. I don't remember a survey, and if I got one, I would have said, "Don't do it." Anyhow, at this step, so I've got this arrow on the sidebar here. At this step, we can still vote no, but since we took the grant money, now we're obligated when the state comes in and says, "Hey, it's time to pay the piper. I hope you guys are done with the project now." So theoretically, I mean, the way grants work is that your village can do anything with a grant. They can do anything with a grant. I made the joke on my blog post that they could buy a fleet of ice cream trucks if they wanted to. They could do anything. They could give themselves bonuses. I genuinely don't think our board is going to be doing that. I'm not calling these guys into question. I think that Joyce Regal and her board they're on the up and up. They want to improve our town. They want to attract developers. But this is way too expensive. This is at a great expense. I think there is no way this is going to be $100 per month, and to just force everybody to pay this is just like this. It at least it at least at $100 a month, it adds 50% to my taxes. That's $1,200 extra a year. We're going to be like one of the highest taxed areas, basically. And then to have utilities added to that, when you decide to hook up. And how much does a hookup cost? Fairgram, I talked to some people that said that Fairgram is a company that, I told you this, that they trim out the options and then they make you do the hookup. And they said the hookups could cost thousands of dollars. And so anyway, I mean, get ready for it, guys. But the cost to apply for the grant is even $2,500. We have to pay them. We're going to pay them so that our board can get this $5 million grant, So here I've got this, take a look here. I got this plat. This is from 2021, so this is a couple years old. And let me zoom in here, and we'll see who owns the land. This is St. Mary's Road, right? You can see that right south of Pesotum. I don't know if you guys can see my cursor here. I can't quite tell. But like plot section 1, actually that does belong to, I think, let's take a look down here. Colby Gregory. Yeah. Or is that section 2? Wait a second. I gotta look at that again. That's the wrong thing. That's not. This is section 23 or 26? 23, 26. I believe it's section 23. Let's see here. Section. Okay, Camp Farm Management Incorporated. So this is a corporate. This is some kind of corporate deal here. So right here in number 1, just south of Pesotum, you see that number 1. That's let's look at that again. Camp Farm Management Incorporated, section 26. And they have 17.10 acres. I think that would be where they would set up the apartments for the Section 8 housing. And then, like, the rest of this thing is Tag Along Associates. That's the Atkins group. And then he doesn't know it yet, but William Steerwalt, you see, who's east of Pesotum and between the ditch. Look at the blue line here for the Hackett Branch ditch. They need to buy that land for the treatment plant, right? And then this tag-along stuff along St. Mary's Road is just going to be like new South End developments, you know. And then to the north here, we have 300 North. We have Dr. Lowe's wife here, Renee C. Lowe, 87.88 acres. That's an abandoned farmhouse right now. And then south of that is Indian Trail Farms, LLC. And they've got, 60.46 acres plus 38.37. And that adjoins Adams Street. That 38.37 acres that adjoins Adams Street, and then Indian Trail Farms again on 60.77. And then when you go up, remember where that concert was at? The country music concert we had a couple of years ago. That was on I think that was between 300 and 400. Yeah, 400 is north here. Yeah. 400 is north of this curve in 57. But this is all tag along. This is all Atkins group right here. So they might want to develop this stuff. So, and then we've got 1 and 2. Number 1 and number 2 in 14. Now this is north of 300 North. In number 14, we've got 1 and 2. Again, hey, there it is, Tag Along Associates, Tag Along Associates. So they want to develop this, but they want us to pay for that treatment plant. I say, hey, let's split it, guys. You guys are coming in and doubling the area potentially, but teeny tiny Pesotum with all of its residents right now and retirees and fixed incomes are going to pay for this thing and set this up. Hey, why not we strike up a deal and see if we can get Atkins to invest and buck up in at least half of this thing, because worst case scenario, we'll take this grant and then we'll all vote no, okay? And I'm not saying, hey, go and vote yes now, but I'm saying now's the time to vote no. If we're basically going to end up voting yes after this. If you don't vote now, you're going to be voting yes, or you're not going to be voting and you're going to be getting it. So, anyway, yeah, what do you guys think about that? Leave some comments here. And I think you can change your vote up until tomorrow, Tuesday evening. Change your vote. If you haven't filled out your survey form, shame on you. Vote no. Don't vote undecided. An undecided vote gives your president and your board permission to accept and apply for this construction grant, and then we are whole hog in. We're in it, but we're not going to win it. You know what I mean? So, all right, guys. With that, I leave you. Have a good night.